and, of course, what the president had tweeted. Yeah. Let me play that.
We have folks who are familiar with these internal polls that he's citing who say that's just not the case, that there is concern about internal polling. Is there?
The president will continue to press his message across this country. He's going to return to those states when he won.
Kellyanne, are you concerned about internal polling?
It's not a yes, but remember, when the president says we've got some of the best numbers we've ever had, he means among Republicans, and he also means among some of the individuals who voted for him last time.
Has he ever asked you to mislead on the polls?
No, and he knows I wouldn't.
Stephanie Cutter, you've been involved in national campaigns. You've worked in the White House. Kellyanne is basically denying the reality of what all the reporting, New York Times, Peter Alexander, Christian's reporting as well.
Right. Well, that's consistent with how she represents this White House. I think it's not a surprise to anybody that he's down in his internals. If you look across all of the national polls, and more tellingly, the polls in the battleground states, high unfavorables, and he's losing in head-to-heads with most of the Democratic candidates. At the very least, Democratic candidates, many of whom are largely unknown, are competitive with him, and that's a problem.
Let's just interrupt for a moment. Breaking news, Donald Trump Jr. on the Hill coming out of that testimony. Let's hear what he has to say.
Clarification, because Michael Cohen, who, let's not forget, is serving time right now for lying to these very investigative bodies. I'm happy to do that. I don't think I changed anything of what I said because there was nothing to change. I'm glad that this is finally over. We're able to put some final clarity on that, and I think the committee understands that. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Have you taken any lessons from this about reporting to the FBI?
So that was outside Senate Intelligence Committee. Stephanie, David Jolly. Stephanie, first to you, just picking up on that. He was testifying because Michael Cohen's testimony, which has been credible, which he was obviously before he went to jail, but because he had a lot of fact-checking on his testimony, was that Donald Trump Jr.'s testimony was not accurate. So he was asked back by the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee, but he is now saying that he repeated what he had said before.
He did. I think we'll know shortly whether that's indeed the case in terms of whether or not they take a next step. You know, I think Michael Cohen, after he agreed to cooperate and acknowledged his own untruths, much of what he has said has proven to be true. So we'll see how this unfolds. I think the more this continues to be in the press, we've known that Donald Trump Jr. And others have been implicated in the Mueller report, and you know, now the Senate Intelligence Committee and other committees across the Congress are diving deep in it. This is just the beginning.
David Jolly, I wanted to go to you because the Senate Intelligence Committee is bipartisan and led by a Republican chairman, and calling the president's son back is a big step.
It is, and recall when he first announced this, the Republican chairperson, he took a lot of heat from his fellow Republican senators who publicly admonished him and said, listen, this matter is done. I think the question around Don Jr. being called back is, was this a platform by which he could clarify his previous testimony and avoid any type of perjury trap or lying to the Senate? Or was this actually done to, in fact, hold his feet to the fire and see if there was a lie that rises to the level of something meaningful for Senate action? I think what we have seen under Mitch McConnell's leadership is pretty clear. The Senate Intelligence Committee probably provided Don Jr. the ability to amend the record, whatever it was he said before. And I imagine, as Mitch McConnell said, unfortunately, the plane will be landed safely. Don Jr. probably cleared his name today behind closed doors, but